Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and I can't hear myself in my ears because I disabled, there we go. I had it configured for speakers instead of headphones. You know what, considering the last 20 or so videos started with that exact line, I'm leaving it in. So anyway, we got more spoilers. First up, we got Cyclops Electromancer. Clearly an Izzet creation. They've apparently developed Iron Man technology. What I want to know, and I'm sure this applies to you guys too, are they still sided with Bolos? Because what Mark Rosewater said is, yeah, throughout the whole thing, 5 guilds are on Bolos' side. Well, that it's been absolutely disproven from some of the artwork and some of the cards. Bare minimum, it's 7 versus 3. Bare minimum. We've got Kaya fighting alongside Gideon. We've got Vraska fighting alongside, I think, also Gideon. So in this card, is he going to war with Bolos' forces, or is he like, yeah, let's blow up Ravnica. I never did like that place. Or are they like, we've been bamboozled, let's blow up these stupid skeletons? Wizards, I want to know, damn it. So, to the flavor text. Every storm has an eye. I don't care. This is Wisconsin. Any storm that comes, whether it has an eye or not, we're going to be out on the front porch filming it for YouTube. So anyway, this is a 4/2 Cyclops Wizard for 5 in red, so you know it'll be a highly popular card. And when it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target creature and opponent controls, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. So 4 damage for 5 ongoing, okay, and then a free kind of removal. It's kind of Beacon Bolt. I still think 5's a little high, but I could see somebody maybe playing this. Definitely beyond useless in pre-release and a draft. If you have enough instants and sorceries to make this card worthwhile, you are going to lose. Next up, Blind Blast. I like that name. It's a 3-cost red instant, and it deals 1 damage to target creature. That creature can't block this turn, and then draw a card. I absolutely hate effects like this. It's probably my least favorite red effect is so-and-so blah 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 can't block. That's always been more of a blue thing. I know that red does can't block. It's like, oh, that's their combat trick. I get it. But tapping things ahead of combat is blue, okay? Unblockable creatures are blue, so it definitely feels pretty blue. So when this effect gets out of control, it really screws up the standard meta. So hopefully this doesn't become a popular card. I think at 3, it's a little bit too high for the number of spells in your Graveyard Matters decks. So at least we got that going for us. Next up, what are these all red? Heartfire, 2-cost instant as an additional cost to cast this spell. Sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. Yeah, that'll happen. Heartfire deals 4 damage to any target for 2 at instant speed. I mean, that's interesting. I could see this in a Goblins deck where if you just stop being able to get through, you nuke a Goblin to get rid of either the blocker or to finish off the person. So that might have some viability. I mean, you literally cannot cast it for like 2 damage without sacking something, so you have to get rid of something. So it's a little rough, but we'll see. Next up, Goblin Assailant. It's a 2/2 for 2, and that's it. Can you say filler? And next up, Goblin Assault Team. I'm going to read the flavor text. I want to know if this one reveals if they're going to fight the Eternals or not. Under the veneer of the various guilds, each goblin has the same basic need to run screaming at the enemy and hit a bunch of stuff. That is freaking awesome. I love that. Doesn't explain a damn thing, though. And it is a 4/1 with haste for 4, so I mean, hey, and then when it dies, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, which is good, because this is going to die. I mean, it doesn't have trample, but okay. I mean, I feel like this entire card honestly should cost 3 and be uncommon, but whatever. I mean, I could see somebody doing something obnoxious with this in not constructed. Next up, Loxodon Sergeant, because we didn't have enough elephants already. It's a 3/3 for 4 with vigilance, which is already pretty decent. Then it enters the battlefield. Other creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn. 1 and done, and then a weakened creature after that. You guys know I don't get into that, but I could see somebody maybe making this work in the right kind of deck. Some kind of all-in first strike thing. The problem is he doesn't have first strike, so I mean, there's a lot of effects that grant blanket vigilance at this point, so I don't know if this will be played, but, you know, it's a common, so is it really intended to be played? Next up, Defiant Strike. It's a 1-cost white instant. You know, I love these. Target creature gets +1 until end of turn, draw a card. Wow, no first strike, no trample, no flying, no, just no. I mean, it's a cantrip, basically. It's not a free cantrip. It's a 1-cost, but whatever, but I mean, you could immediately draw a land and then just be like, okay, that sucks. Or you could draw another boost spell. And there's a ton of +2/+2 spells right now. A ton. There's like 4. So you could draw into a better boost, but +1, +0 is just nothing. I mean, I'd probably recommend this if it was +1/+1. Now combine it with like target a creature, get a bonus thing, because there's like one pseudo heroic in the standard, I think. I don't remember what it is, but there is one. Anyway, next up we got Courage in Crisis. It's a 3-cost sorcery in green. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature, then Proliferate, which is where you put another counter basically on that exact same creature and then pretty much anything else you want. I hate Proliferate. It is so annoying. Next up, Band Together. Oh my god, they didn't. You know I haven't read any of these cards yet, but if this is pseudo-banding, I am going to lose it. I already brought back Affinity for Artifacts and Storm. Why the hell not? Let's do banding. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm wrong. Okay, let's read it. Let's just do it. Let's get it over with. Let's rip the band-aid off. 3-cost instant, up to 2 target creatures you control, each deal damage equal to their power to another target creature. Oh, thank God. It's just like a crappy banding force fight, but without the backlash. Actually, this spell is freaking amazing. For 3, you have 2 creatures without any chance of repercussions or backlash get to deal their cumulative power in damage to another creature. That is crazy, and it's up to 2. So if you just got one big fatty out there and you want a force fight, plus this is not sorcery speed, I mean, this thing is excellent. This is at least tied with that force fight that can hit planeswalkers. Those are like my 2 favorite cards in green right now. Next up, Neoform, another Simic disaster. It's a 2-cost sorcery, and as an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature, so good luck with that. Search the library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost. Yeah, blah, 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 snooze. It's, what is that? That one banned card again? They got a bunch of stupid crap like this. Why are they even flirting with an effect that was already banned? Seriously. So anyway, you put it directly onto the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it, then shuffle your library. So that additional 1/1 counter, the spell costing 2, is pretty nuts. Will anybody play it? Yeah, probably. Fun fact, if you counter that spell, they still have to sack the creature because it's part of the cost. And as you may have suspected, they then get nothing. Next up, Bloom Hulk. It's a 4/4 for 4, and when it enters the battlefield, Proliferate. That's probably pretty good. I mean, it's a little late. Obviously, Planeswalker decks are going to use Proliferate. I mean, Sagas, okay. I think the effect goes off in like response to the counter being put on it, but that's not persistent. That just speeds it up a little bit. So other than that, I think people are definitely going to play this in Planeswalker decks. So is 4 mana too slow? I mean, a 4/4 for 4 that could block for a Planeswalker, cool, but is it too slow? I would say probably. A lot of Super Friends decks are going to want to hold enough mana for a basic 2-cost counterspell, if not 3. So I think 4 is a little high for that. But, I mean, a lot of green Planeswalkers artificially drop lands into play, so we'll see. Next up, Pollen Bright Druid. Oh boy, it's a 1/1 for 2, and when it enters the battlefield, choose 1, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, or Proliferate. Now see, there we go. Like, this is an automatic include in any Planeswalker heavy deck that runs green. I mean, if your deck's not so defensive that you don't care how long it takes to get the loyalty, but I mean, you know, Vraska's Contempt could creep up on you at any point, as well as Ixalan's Binding and anything else. So unless you're playing blue with just massive amounts of counterspells, which is not typically how Super Friends decks exclusively protect themselves. I mean, it's a thing, but they usually don't run above 8, so it's not a guaranteed thing that you'd have one in your hand at all times. So other than that scenario where you can always protect your Planeswalkers from something, in real time, I should say, like in response to a threat, you're going to want to hit the gas pedal on the loyalty. Now, the other thing is, okay, let's say you're not even playing Planeswalkers, or oops, you couldn't get any out because you're only playing like 8 of them or something. Okay, put a 1/1 counter on something, target creature, including Pollen Bright itself. Now you got something bigger, maybe they'll stop swinging at you. Now, the other thing is, remember, Simic Planeswalkers is going to be one of the sickest things ever. They might even splash black for some Vraskas, and they'll be able to just clone this. Just sit there and clone it over and over and over and over and over. That would be crazy. You know what, screw it. That'll be one of the 3 decks I'm building. I've already got 2 deck ideas. Mono white, obviously. I'm not going to tell you the other one. It's a surprise. And I'll do Simic Planeswalkers, because I already basically have the deck on Arena. So next up, we got, call the Bully Hunters, because it's Iron Bully. So this is a 1/1 for 3 with Menace. Thank God, because you need some help getting this past anything. And when it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. That is not good. It's just not. I mean, it's a cool way to enable that stupid Elvish Mystic clone thing with Adapt, where if it has a counter, taps for 3 mana. Other than that, boy, this is just garbage. I think this is one of those filler things to be like, nah, we didn't just print Proliferate solely for loyalty counters, even though they did. Next up, we got everybody's favorite DC villain, Massacre Girl. It's a 4/4 for 5, legendary creature, human assassin. She has menace, that's annoying. And when she enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So I guess she's supposed to be semi-unblockable damage because the whole point is you're blowing up enough stuff that they don't have 2 blockers. And she's supposed to amplify your single removal into mass removal. I don't think it's going to work quite that well one at a time, like -1 at a time. You'd have to just cast an awful lot of spells to make this work. I don't know. I feel like if you like board wipe and like 6 creatures die, you're more likely to get hit yourself except for her and just lose all the rest of your creatures. So I don't know, this is kind of dumb. So next up we got Atomic Distinguished Advocist. What the hell is that? A wizard that advocates things? Is he a protester? Is he in SJW? So he's a 2/3 legendary for double white. That's usually pretty good. He's also a rare. And he's also an advisor. That's got to come up at some point. So he's flying. That's cool. And lands on the battlefield and land cards in the graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities your opponents control. Thank God. You know what? You can take haphazard bombardment and bombard these nuts, okay? Because Tomic's not having that. Also, your opponents can't play land cards from graveyards. Thank God. So apparently they figured out that land destruction was the most toxic deck in all of Standard. It makes Esper Control look friendly. If you haven't played against primary red, a lot of color mix, land destruction, consider yourself really lucky. It is the #1 most aggravating, most stupid, obnoxious pile of garbage anybody has put together since the last Standard rotation. By far. No deck even comes close. Infinitely looping Nexus, are you kidding me? Not even on the same planet as just blowing up all my lands. In fact, I've said it before and I'll say it again. They took a survey, I think like 10-ish years ago among all the pro players and said, what's the most annoying effect in Magic? And they said land destruction. There was a survey since then and it said hand disruption. They barely beat it. But back in the day, it was land destruction. So also, I just said this as if everybody knew it. What they do is they cast Crucible of Worlds and then sacrifice the red memorial to blow up a land and then immediately play the memorial again and blow up another land the next turn. And they do it every single turn. And then with haphazard bombardment, you're losing 2 lands per turn, which is obviously absolute bullshit. Unfortunately, not enough people play the damn deck for me to legitimize putting this in my deck, mainboarded or in the sideboard. So I guess they didn't solve a damn thing. I've got a solution for you, wizards. Stop printing land destruction. Oh, what a concept. So next up, we got Mobilized District. They're all going to fight Bolas by holding hands with some Hands Across America BS. What are you going to ask them nicely and then go on Twitter and accuse them of sexual harassment? Is that your strategy, you frickin' hippies? So anyway, you can tap for colorless, so that's already super duper value town. And then if you pay 4, it becomes a 3/3 citizen creature with vigilance until end of turn. It's still a land. It's going to get killed and you're going to lose a land. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature and planeswalker you control. Oh, wonderful. So you get a free 3/3 that's going to get itself killed. Well, at least you don't need the land, because when the land as a creature dies and goes to your graveyard, you just lost your useless colorless that you didn't need. Wow, this is just an absolute waste of a rare slot. That's a shame. Next up, 10th District, which everybody knows is the best district. Legionnaire. It's a 2/2 for 2, Boros card, and it's a human soldier. No surprise Boros is fighting the Eternals. We still don't know what the hell it's doing. Hopefully somebody stabs Ral in the face. That would be nice. He deserves it. So this is a 2/2 with haste, and whenever you cast a spell that targets this card, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then scry 1. Cool, now we have 2 pseudo-heroic cards. That's actually a pretty decent heroic effect. I'm thinking in an ambush-heavy Boros Mentor deck, this would be pretty tasty, which nobody's playing, but I mean, this mixed with Tajic, you might have something there. Just not enough creatures in that deck had haste. Next up, some blurry god-awful image of Mayhem Devil. Whoever leaked this, come on, have some standards, my god. So this is a 3/3 for 3. It's a devil, and whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, it deals 1 damage to any target. Wow, that's super relevant. Next. We got Merfolk Skydiver, because we didn't need to restrict them just to the rivers, and we totally needed more Merfolk. Thanks, guys. So this is a 1/1 for 2. It's flying, and when it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, and then you can pay 5 and proliferate repeatedly. Wonderful! I can't wait for counter Merfolk to come back. Oh, those tap and hexproof effects. God, I love them so much. And finally, we got whatever the hell this says. It's allegedly Mizium Tank. So it's a artifact vehicle, and it's red. Okay. It has trample, and it's a 3/2, and then whenever you cast a non-creature spell until end of turn, it gets +1/+1 and becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. So in other words, well, it is crew 1, but you're never going to crew this thing. It's in red. Why would you waste the attacker crewing it? Just cast a spell. So this thing with trample is kind of completely ridiculous. I think people will actually play this, unfortunately. That really pisses me off. So this entire list was just a bunch of like obnoxious crap that nobody wants to deal with. Wow, how depressing. I'm going to go drink Diet Cherry Lemon Sundrop until I can't feel feelings. Bye, everyone!